we need to do, let's go ahead and set up like a floor and then like a subfloor for where the seats will sit on, and then we're going to place the Oscars inside. We'll be able to develop some of the interior from there. Let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do here, we're going to get into our shapes. I'm going to put a plane, and we're just going to start one off. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this to a subdivision. So you just hold this down with the trigger and select edit on your left hand. Let's see. It is in sub D. Okay. So we can just move these over. Then move that over. Oops. Do like that. Oh, let me turn off the snap. Okay. All right, we're going to move that in. It'll be about right there. Okay, good. Now I'm going to move this. Actually, let me see. Maybe something like this. Okay. All right. Now, a cool little trick I love using. So you have to make sure that in settings, your smart move is on. It's going to allow you to move your objects, regardless of what it is, in various directions, right, along the axis. So the way you want to do it, I like to leave it on X, Y, and Z axis versus all direction. All direction is cool, but it gets a little tricky using it, especially when you have a lot of objects and stuff close to each other. I like to use just the X, Y, and Z axis to keep it simple. And if you look at my menu, like I said, I'm not going to go through every piece of detail when it comes to this. Is trying to streamline the tutorial as much as I can. So just look at the menu. I'm in settings. I have my mirror on. I have the vertical lock on, so my car isn't twisting upside down and everything. And then the mirror style, I have it off. It's redundant to have it on because I know the mirror is there. And I know whatever I do on this side, it's going to duplicate on that side. And it'll merge if I meet certain, my my vertices at center line, it's going at the mirror line, I should say, it's going to merge automatically. So I don't need to have this on. It's cool to have, but I don't need it. Smart move, we're going to do X, Y, and Z and just leave it there. Press the little menu button and we have the floor. So with the smart move, you can move this along specific axis, right? So the blue one, if you look, the blue one going up and down is going to be the Z axis. And if you press this and hold this trigger and you hold um, your controllers um, in line with each other, you'll be able to move objects how you want. So you can do like that, or you can move it up and down like that. Like it's cool. It comes in handy for stuff like this. So with this, that's going to be like, let me see, something like that is what I imagine. Okay, and then I'm gonna duplicate this because this would be like the most bottom floor where you have like the exhaust running underneath and suspension. Just the chassis. You have the chassis running underneath. I'm gonna duplicate this. Let's see. I'll just select the whole thing, extrude, okay, and it's gonna go back to its original position, move it up, and now you have a subfloor. So this would be what guess you wouldn't call it a subfloor. This would be the floor, like the carpet, where the seats will rest on. So we'll just leave it at that. That'd be something like that. Okay. All right, cool. All right, that works. That works. All right. I'm going to click out of that. Now, what we need to do, let me see. Let's create another layer while I'm thinking about it. So we're going to say interior, sketch, rough. Mm. No, we don't even need to do that. Let's just do interior. Mm. You know what? Let's get out of here. Okay. All right. What we're going to do, let's just import. Okay. Go. All right. Now we should be able to look at our little guy here. You can, I don't know, I might have to zoom in, but you can see him right here, this little Oscar. So in order for him to be a reasonable size, right? Because he's like a little bug. uh, we're going to have to make some alterations. So let's say for my height, we're going to use my height. So I'm 5'8", 5'9" shoes. We're going to clear that out. I'm using imperial, so 5'8" means 68 inches tall. So we'll say 69. We'll say 68. Let's do 68 inches tall. Okay. Okay, and there's the guy right in here. So I'm gonna blow it up and boom. Now technically in one scale, that Oscar should be the same height as me. So we're just gonna assume that's the case. And then we're gonna turn him around. Okay. Uh enter. And we're just gonna leave from there. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I need to lock this layer because I don't want to get them all. Okay, he's on this own layer, which is good. Why are you standing out the car like that? That looks hilarious. All right, I'm gonna lock this one. That's the sketch, and then main body. Yeah, that's right. This is just there. So what I'm gonna do is name this uh Oscar Driver. Okay. So this little guy here is the driver. I'm gonna put him in a driver's seat. I'm gonna import the seats first. Okay. What I need to do also, here, let's see. Okay. I'm gonna go and bring in the seats. So built-in models, boom, boom. We're gonna go to landing pad, asset library, 3D assets, and then transportation. So you have car components, seating. They have some pre-designed seats. This comes in handy too, because I can design my own seats, but I like what they have here. They actually did a good job. So here, we'll just do this one. All right. And then, so if you double tap, you can grab this seat and pull it out into your design space. But to me, it'd be easier to click it again. And now we can pull the seat up, into our design space. And then we're going to turn it around. So let's see. All right. Press enter. Now I'm assuming, so this is with the assumption that the seat is in 1/1 scale as well. So what I'm going to do, let's go to our layers. Okay, so person, what's up with this? Oh, he's sitting there. Okay, even better. I didn't expect for the person to be in there because see, when I thought I chose that before. Okay. So I'm going to hide the Oscar driver and then I'm going to what's this? Okay. So I'm gonna lock this. All right. Actually, I'm gonna make this car invisible for a second. So make that invisible. All right. It's a lot going on here. I don't like that though. That's not what nah, I don't need that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete all of this. Dang. Okay. Yeah, that seating position is weird because that looks like an office chair. I'm not going. Okay. All right. My Oscar driver should still be there. All right. There's the main body. Okay. There's the Oscar driver. All right. Let me try that again. Oops. Okay. Here, let's choose this one. Yep, this the one. Okay. All right. And this is already in seating position. Yep, that's good. That's exactly what I want. Um, enter. And then I'm going to back out this menu. So, should be able to, now with this, because there are different elements to the design, I like to try to choose the whole thing at once. So, to, put it in a proper seating position or whatever. And then what I'm going to do too, I'm going to bring in my reference sketch to help me place the seat where I want it. Let's see. All right, I moved the sketch outward. So what I'm going to have to do then? I have an idea. I'm going to bring in my wireframe and just do it like that. Okay. All right, that works. All right, so the way I do it, this is the only thing that's selectable, right? Which is the way I want it. Because what I'm going to do is a box selection. So right now, what you have to do, hold down the tool belt button, go over to selection. Now, if you select and hold, now this trigger here, if you select and hold it, you can choose the whole thing and not have to worry about leaving out different parts of the object out of it. Because sometimes that will happen, and then you can move it at will. Now, the reason I created this floor was because technically, like we know that the seat is on a rail and the rail is secured to the floor with fasteners and stuff. And then you have the electronics underneath and all that. So let's see. That's look about right. Yeah. Yeah. So this means that we can probably get away with knocking down the roof a little bit, but we're going to see once we put the Oscar inside. So the next step will be to grab this Oscar. I need to lock the seat in place. And then Oscar driver, I'm going to unlock that little guy and should be able to just boom, boom. Okay, we're going to sit him down. Okay, about right there. All right. Now, if you select and him as an edit, then you can actually edit different points on his body to put him in a position you want him. So, as a matter of fact, let me get him down a little bit. Something like that. Okay. Then we're going to sit him back. So this is where it gets a little tricky because you have to realize that there are like pivot points. So let's see. Okay, it's not going to work. There you go. Okay. So you can switch between basic functionality of the Oscar, and then you can go over to a more detailed functionality of the Oscar, where you can manipulate the fingers, the wrist and things like that. So that's what we want. Now, that's where it gets a little tricky because, the demand is there now. It's a huge demand. So now we're going to try to pivot his arm. Okay. We're going to turn him around. Okay. Like that. And then rotate the shoulders. Okay. We're going to bring his up. Shoulders. Okay. Like that. Flip the wrist. Flip the wrist. Okay. Oh, all right. Do something like that. Put his, okay. Boom. So with this, it's just remembering the points in which you rotate. That's all. So we picture the steering wheel is going to be somewhere in there, and now we have to pivot his hips so he can sit in the chair. Okay, we got the knees. Okay, and then his little foot. All right, so that means the hip is going to be up. That's the pedal. The pedal is going to be somewhere up in there. And then this foot has a tendency to kind of, unless you're driving a stick shift, the foot is going to just kind of rest on the floor or somewhere over there. So something like that. All right. Or you bring the arms in closer like that. Oh, we got to bring in the shoulder. There you go. All right. Okay, good. So something like that, right? So it just gives us an idea. Oh, and then we gotta move this pivot point. We're gonna move his kind of have him relax a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Can't get it to there you go. So he's kind of sitting back a little bit. He needs some lumbar support. So I'm gonna try to no, I can't do it like that. So something like that, I guess. All right. So what I'm gonna have to do then is kind of let's see. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna have to move the whole Oscar back in order for it to make sense. Something like that. And then edit, switch over to detail edit, and then kind of sit them back. There we go. All right. So he got a little bit more lumbar support, which means I'm gonna put his arms down. Okay. Boom. All right. We got something. Yeah, kind of pivot that back. Okay, good. All right. So we have him in a seating position. I don't know. He still look on. I guess that's how a person looks when they drive. Yeah, yeah, something like that. I guess that'll work for now. Um. Okay. All right. So what I need to do then, I'm going to duplicate. Let's see. Yeah, I can duplicate the seat now. So exactly what I'm going to do. Well, we need to lock in our Oscar driver and then make the seat selectable. The seat is selectable. All right. Now we gotta make sure that's the only thing that's unlocked, so we can manipulate that as its own entity. We're going to duplicate. We're going to duplicate it, and then let's see. There you go, just like that. Let me try that again. I'm gonna try to duplicate everything. Okay, there we go. So I imagine the seat is going to be somewhere back here. Gonna be something like that. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to duplicate this again. It's going to be to the side. And then I'm going to duplicate this to the front. All right. Okay. Good. So we have our seats done. Now we may have to move the seats around a little bit, but this is again why we have layers because you'll be able to move them. I'm gonna have to put them on their own layers. Mm, okay, I can do that. So we're going to say we're going to rename this. We'll say driver's seat. So we'll say seat. Okay, and then if I do another layer, I move that up there. That's going to be, we'll say seat. Wait, actually, let's make sure this layer isn't tied to anything. Okay, it doesn't look like it is. So we're going to say um, rear driver seat. Okay. Oh, you know better yet? That's stupid because there's only one driver. I mean, you can have a backseat driver, but um, normally if somebody's getting backhanded at that point. So we're going to say left rear seat, just so it'll make sense to whoever is checking this out. Now we should be able to grab like this whole seat and we can put it as its own layer. So if we were to make this layer visible, the other three seats are tied to this one. So if we make this invisible, wait a second, that means this should be the only one that's visible, which is the case. So what we have to do is do the same thing for the other seats. We're going to put them in their own layers. Let me go back. I'm going to move this. So to move the layers around, I'm just selecting and holding this trigger and then just moving them up. It's just like how you would do in Photoshop or even like Sketchbook Pro. And then this is going to be right, rear, seat, boom. Okay. So I'm going to lock these. Wait a second. I'm gonna lock that one. Okay. Let's select this as its own entity. Ah, I did that wrong. Okay, let me try that again. All right, so I'm gonna select this as its own entity. And then this would be the right. I'm just dragging this to, again, its own layer, right rear seat. Let's make sure that that is, okay, there you go. Okay, good. Now we gotta do the same thing. I'm gonna get rid of the stitch. I don't need it for real. So boom, boom. Okay, good. All right. This would be front pass seat. Okay. So again, this is on the first layer we did. So we have to unlock it and then select this as a whole. And then we're going to drag it to front pass. Drop it in. So if you make this invisible, that should be the only seat invisible. So that's how you get your seats going on its own layer. That way you'll be able to manipulate the seat on its own versus them sharing one layer and moving all four seats at the same time. It defeats the purpose of, being able to alter the way the packaging is inside the vehicle. So we're going to lock, Going to do another layer. Now we have to place some more Oscars in. I mean, he can drive alone. I mean, he can ride alone or whatever. But for this to make sense, I may do, let me see. I'm just adding another Oscar. All right. So with this person, we'll be able to unlock the layer and select him as an entity. And we're going to make another layer. We're going to do pass, we'll say front passenger. Okay, because that's where he is. So he's selectable. We're going to duplicate him first, though. So we want to do a selection, and we can just duplicate him over there, and then do like that. All right, and then we'll be able to move them accordingly. So it'll be like that. All right. Now with this, I'll be able to select him, hold and select, and we're going to place him in his own layer for the same reasons we did the seats. Just get the line up. There you go, front passenger. So if we make this invisible, he disappears, reappear. All right, we're good to go. So now we can manipulate him how we want. Now with this, we're going to just kind of relax him. So I'm gonna put his shoulders down. Trying to remember how people ride. Okay, so when my wife rides with me, she's kind of like there, and then her feet like down. Her legs kind of stretched out a little bit. Her legs are stretched out, and then let's see, there we go, kind of like that. Yeah, something like that. Kind of comfortable. Just be chilling. Yeah, so maybe something like that. Y'all get the point. You all get the point. Oh, let me bring that in. Okay. Flip the wrist. All right, cool. Now, here's the cool thing about this Oscar, right? So this will set the tone for what the other Oscars are doing. Now, in the rear seats, the knees may go up a little bit further than the front, the Oscars in the front seat. But at least with this, we have a better template to work with than this Oscar, because this Oscar is strictly in the driver position, where your hands will be at 10 and 2. Like I said, your foot is kind of over here resting, and this will be your pedal foot. So, unless you're driving if you're driving the clutch. I mean, your foot's still on the clutch over here. So, but regardless, this is the driver, and this sets the tone for the passengers. So, with that, what we need to do is we're going to do another layer. This will be right rear passenger. Okay. And then we're going to do another one that's going to be uh, left rear passenger. Okay. All right. So with this front passenger, since it's unlocked, we can go ahead and duplicate them. Select duplicate, and then drag it to the rear. All right. Now, this is what I mean by the knees going up. But before we do that, let's put them in a layer. So this would be a right rear passenger. Boom. Okay. He drops in. So let's see. Front passenger, invisible. Boom. We got it. So we're going to leave that unlocked, because if you have a layer unlocked, you can manipulate it. If you have it locked, you can't do anything with it, which is the point. So We're going to leave it unlocked so we can duplicate him over to here. And then we're going to plug him into this layer for the left rear passenger. So I'm going to do the same thing, select it as an entity, duplicate it, and then drag them over. All right. That's what we want. So this already tells me that the roof line probably needs to come up through here because I mean, the head is poking right out the roof. So granted, it does make the car look cooler, gives it a better stance if the greenhouse is a little bit lower. But then you run into this issue, where the rear seats. Now, I'm gonna have to get in my car. I'm gonna have to get in our car and see because I don't know when I'm in the rear seat. I'm rarely in the rear seat. Uh, but when I don't know, for some reason, it appears as though the rear seats sit a little bit lower than the front seats. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. But for now, what I'm going to do is have this place right here. Like I said, it's just an indicator. It's just to kind of help us figure out where. Oh, let's see. Okay, so I need to plug this guy into this layer. This will be left rear passenger. Boom. Okay. All right, he's gone. He's gone. Front passenger, Oscar driver. Okay, good. All right. So this is why we have the packaging. Now, what I could do to help resolve this would be to move the two, like the driver and the passenger, a little bit forward. But then that's going to raise the roof line in the front. I mean, it's going to have to be raised anyway, but this is going to raise it in the front too. So we have the Oscars in place, and then of course all of this is like, you have your deck lid. This would be like where the rear deck speakers would go somewhere up in there, and then you have the third seat, which right for now I'm not going to do like a third seat. It's going to be just like a coupe, which is a coupe is typically four doors, four seater with a nice luxurious infotainment system running down the center of the vehicle that rolls into the middle console where typically like in the likes of a Rolls Royce or something, they will have like a compartment for a refrigerated compartment for like champagne flutes and champagne bottles, things like that. You have rear entertainment. So it'd be like so I'm gonna get that all squared away, but this will help us place everything where it needs to be first before we get deeper into our design. So again, we may have to move the front Oscars forward a bit. And then you look here, I mean, the visibility is crap. Like, let me see. I'm gonna have to say it down a little bit. They're chilling over here, so I don't have to worry about their head position. They probably sleep during the road trip, so they sleep. Um, he's a little bit more attentive. That's me. I'm driving, so I was a little bit more attentive. So my head is up off the headrest. So um, that's what we have for now. So right now we have Oscars and seats placed within the cabin. That's going to help us um, further figure out the greenhouse and just the rest of the design.